Resumes are marketing tools, not the history of your career. Think of yourself as a product and the employer as the buyer. What is it about you that makes the perfect product or candidate for the employer or buyer's need? Your resume needs to market you with that need in mind. This is your value proposition. You're explaining to your target employers who you are and how you'll succeed at the job they need to fill. I'll cover the strategies for developing your value proposition in another video. But for now, here are some structural elements to consider when writing your resume. Don't use headers and footers. I'm not sure why people do this, but it's not only pointless, but dangerous. ATS software doesn't read the text in a header. When you include your name and contact information in the header, your resume is basically anonymous. Instead, put your contact information at the top of the page. Include your name, of course, your mobile phone number, your LinkedIn profile URL, and your email address. And by the way, don't use an AOL email. It suggests that you're as outdated as AOL is. Have you heard that your resume needs to fit on one page? I don't know where this comes from, but it makes no sense. I've seen people try to cram everything onto one page by using tiny fonts, narrow margins, or structured templates, making the resume difficult to read and for the software to understand. Now, some careers will easily fit onto one page, but when they don't, let the text flow onto the second page. If what's on the first page is compelling, the reader will scroll down to page 2. Just don't go to page 3, that's too long. Don't download a resume template. Sure, they're pretty, but that's not what's going to market you effectively. A Word document is your best bet, although companies, especially tech firms, increasingly use Google Docs. Leave your street address off the resume. No one is going to write you a letter, and besides, it's a safety issue. Instead, embed the URL to your LinkedIn profile into the resume. Don't include your objective. Employers already know your objective. It's to get hired. You need to think about the employer's objective, which is to find the perfect candidate. There's also no need to include the city and state next to each company name. It adds nothing to your candidacy. If you want employers to know that you worked in other countries, just include that information when discussing what you've done at that company. And forget descriptions of what your current or past employers do. It's your resume, so what matters is what you've done, not what the company does. Don't list references, or worse, write references available on request. If an interviewer wants a reference, they'll ask for it. Now, does the job posting mention software competencies? Check to make sure that you're familiar with most of them. Include a heading in the resume titled Software and list every application you use. If you've earned any certifications, you'll want to include a separate heading for those as well. Don't lump in your certifications with your education.